Today's sponsor is Audible.com, who has more than 180,000 audiobooks and spoken word audio products. Get a free audiobook of your choice at www.audibletrial.com/shark. Welcome to the Movies, Films, and Flicks podcast. I'm your host, John Loswiff. Joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Mark Hoffmeyer.
You know what Mel Brooks used to call his peacoat?
What's that?
A urine jacket.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, the first time he met Gene Wilder before the producers, I guess everyone was like on edge, and he made a joke about his peacoat being a urine jacket.
So I'm very interested in the journey that brought you to that bit of trivia.
I watched Gene Wilder role model, after he passed away, Turner Classic Movies, did this thing where Alec Baldwin interviewed him for an hour, and he's just talking about stories from his career when he told that story.
That's spiffy.
Urine jacket.
Gene Wilder was the master of the comedic pause. I watched this short little YouTube video someone made of all the great comedic pauses that he's had throughout all of his films, and it's just... Yeah, before every great line or every great reaction he's ever had, he was just a master of just doing a really, really prolonged kind of pause. It just kind of somehow enhances the comedic effect, and it's very hard to do. I feel like he was one of the very few people to actually do that successfully.
Remember in the producers so he gets slapped and he's like, I'm in pain, and then he throws water in his face. He's like. There's a pause. He goes, I'm wet.
I feel like it's yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Yeah, I feel like the dramatic pause is it's like a lost art in the world of comedy. These days, it's all just really fast paced and really reactionary. I feel like we don't really have a lot of comedies these days where it's intentionally slowed down, especially the way Gene Wilder did it.
It's interesting. And Woody Allen hired him because he knew that Gene Wilder could legitimately play in love with the sheep. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. So, John Lemongood, what kind of dramatic pauses do you do on a daily basis?
Mostly just those where I'm completely dumbfounded trying to respond to your transitions in these podcasts from you guys.
Well, there you go.
But, so to our listeners, though, so we start recording, right? And I comment oh, Mark, I'm so envious that you have your whatever is called the brandy snifter glass, and he's enjoying some nice scotch or bourbon, Mark.
Mm-hmm. This is bourbon.
And so right after I say that, he starts posing in front of the camera sideways, he's doing a commercial shoot after I tell him, man, I really wish I had one of those. He's like,
You should do a Suntory
I'm getting
commercial.
notes of vanilla right now.
I'm getting notes of jerk that I hate.
I'm getting notes of alcohol.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I shouldn't complain too hard. I've got my wine over here. Lazabath, do you have a Coke or a beer?
It's a Coke.
It's a Coke? I was figuring you had some Cigar City over there.
Not this week. Maybe next week.
All our talk about alcohol on this podcast, one day we will get to our cinematic drinks podcast.
Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, let's start a GoFundMe page so we can keep Lazabath loaded with Cigar City.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I wonder how might not be that expensive. That might be doable.
Yeah, let's look into this. It's about $10. Okay, so probably 2-3 a podcast. We do 4. So he needs 12. So 2 6-packs a month. That's about, let's say, they're they're a little bit more expensive. So let's try to raise $25 a month to keep Laz with Cigar City beer.
$300 a year.
Yeah.
I will say their Oktoberfest that they currently have out is amazing. It's one of the best Oktoberfest beers I've ever had. No exaggeration.
Yeah. So let's start a GoFundMe because we got to make sure Laz stays loaded up with Oktoberfest and every seasonal Cigar City beer.
Yes, please.
He edits this thing. He does all the work. We just show up and people ask me, "Hey, Mark, how do you podcast?"
No, I had a conversation with a friend who wants to do a podcast called Neil's Deal, and it's Neil who submitted questions to us. He was asking me how we do it. I'm like, well, here's how we organize the podcast. And he's like, yeah, but like, what about this, that, and the other? I'm like, well, we have an RSS feed, and we give it to Lazavath, and he, I don't know, does sorcery or things with it. I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, he trained with Nicolas Cage and became the podcast apprentice.
I figured it had to do with midichlorians.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Nick Cage took me to like this underground lab, and there were like Tesla coils going off everywhere. Like, this is how you upload.
When Nicolas Cage makes a crazy face, are all the midichlorians pulling his eyelids back farther than eyelids should normally go? Is that how he makes that face?
That's his normal face. He has like a resting crazy face.
It's from the midichlorians, though.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
Was it all green screen, this room you were in?
No. This is real.
No, like, it was real, but was it all green screened down there with him?
No. That's Nick Cage. He doesn't use green screens.
Wait, I keep with infinite segues here, but so a friend of mine in the month of September, this is not a joke or exaggeration, actually watched all 74 Nicolas Cage movies from start to finish in a month.
Does he have a job?
He works from home. That was my question.
Okay.
You know what, though? If you did two, let's say you get home at like 6 o'clock, right? And then you watch 2, so that's at least, 60. And then during the weekends, you throw in an extra 2 each day on the weekends. You could technically have a job and still watch them all. Life would just be interesting.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he works from home, so he has no commute time, right? Maybe he's taking a long, relaxed lunch while he checks email or something. But he watched 74, and he watched them in reverse chronological order. I saw him posting the images of the movies he was watching, kind of like I do with the films I watched this year album, and a lot of other people do that. And I was just sitting back like, man, this has got to be both extremely interesting and occasionally boring. But yeah, the interesting little experiment that my friend Patrick was doing.
Somebody took a picture of Nicolas Cage from Con Air, cut it out, and while his hair's blowing back, and then had a Con Air hair dryer and put the picture next to the hair dryer like it was blowing his hair.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that. I've seen stuff like it, though.
Hey, Lovegood, your friend.
I don't know if it was Con Air, but
Yeah. Hey, Lovegood, your friend's not staying at this place called Guantanamo Bay, is he? I can't
No,
imagine
man,
any
he's
reason
in
why.
the lovely city of Lexington.
Oh, okay. All right. I think it's time to start the podcast like we usually do, and that's with listener questions. Lovegood, I think you have questions for us this week.
I do, and for some suspiciously thematic reason, all of our questions seem to follow one actor. So Joe from Prattville, Alabama asks, would the UFC be more interesting if they wrapped their hands in gauze and rolled their fists through broken glass like they did in the original Kickboxer?
no. They should go the Hot Shots Part 2 route, dunk their hands in caramel, and then have a whole smorgasbord of gummy bears, sprinkles. It's like basically you go to a froyo stand, but you have your hands in caramel, and you can dunk them in whatever you want.
Nice.
Like if you were fighting a diabetic, they'd be terrified.
I mean, you could have a snack. Like, let's say someone's ground and pounding, and you see like a little teddy bear, a little gummy bear on their fist. You're gonna be, you might try to eat it. Like if they're stalled, you might try to grab it. You could snack while you're down there. I mean, and personally, I want to see what a handful of gummy bears and caramel looks like on a knockout.
Like messy. I mean, with the caramel on someone's face, it would probably look like you just killed them.
And it could actually go it could become slippery on them later on, and someone tries to get you in like a head and arm or something like that, and whoop, caramel.
But so it occurred to me, like, I think like 20, I'm making up a number, by the way. I'm not even an educated guess, but like 25% of these UFC fights, I feel like are over in under a minute. So for those 25% of UFC fights, this ancient kickboxer Van Damme versus Tung Po method wouldn't even really have a significant effect on how long the fights last. Some of them. And then the other ones, I suppose it might shorten them.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a lot less fighters.
Would it distract good grapplers from grappling?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to go to any of those fights, though.
I sort of would, but I understand the very real and shared moral propensity not to go.
Like, not even that. Like, it's just in the kickboxer worlds, like the cuts don't look that bad. Like they're it's like, remember Enter the Dragon? He got cool cut, like scars. Like basically in movies, people get awesome looking scars from these fights.
Yeah, in Enter the Dragon, it was like a cat scratched him.
Yeah. And
like so he just caught like the last millimeter of those blades.
Like these dudes are gonna be. It's gonna look like a real Saw movie.
And even in like the original Kickboxer, which was like 88 or 89, when he got his like abdomen and his cheeks slashed, like there was no latex work. It's not like there were chunks of flesh anywhere. It was just like it grazed him really badly and left like a little bloody smear.
Yeah. So I mean, I would be really depressed.
Lazabeth, have you ever gotten into a fight where you guys stopped, wrapped your hands in gauze, dipped them in glue, and then shoved them in broken glass before resuming the fight? Have you ever done that?
What, like, you ever gotten a fight in the hardware store?
Well, like, I mean, after high school, like during high school, sure, it's all a little rough, but like as an adult,
no. But take it back to the question. I think, yeah, the UFC would be more entertaining. I don't know, like I guess the bloodthirsty part of me wants to see like what Dan Henderson could do, or like maybe a Chuck Liddell do if he could like have like broken glass like behind his punch. I think that would just be, I mean, it'd be terrible to watch, but it would just be really awesome at the same time. I don't know.
Is it me, or is this scenario oddly similar? Not with the weapon, but just in concept to like the Running Man.
Yeah.
Like,
Families would be crying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just a bloodthirsty part of me. I'm thinking like, man, I think I would want to watch that, actually.
I definitely wouldn't want to ever watch women's UFC though at that point.
I want MMA with caramel and gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Like, imagine if the caramel's really sticky, so like you do a spinning back fist and it just sticks to a dude's head.
Like it's stuck, and then he starts he elbow locks you because your hand is stuck to his head, and he like opportunistically gets you in an elbow lock and arm bars you.
Yeah, exactly. All because of the damn caramel.
And you only have one arm to defend yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you'd watch the corner in between, they'd be like snacking instead of like going like watch the left. They're like pass me a jelly bean. And you're like, what? Like, coach, I need your help. He has a mouthful of Reese's peanut butter cups.
I don't know. Can you imagine though if someone like Anderson Silva was allowed to wear like hockey skates?
I mean, my head would be in the stands, but I would rather see fighters on ice skates than with glass on their fists.
That would be just like in like Blades of Glory when they were watching the old stock footage of the Chinese figure skaters performing the Iron Lotus, and one of them cuts the other's head off.
Dude, I think this is gonna sound bad, but I think the Canadians and the Russians would be like the best.
Why? Because they're naturally good skaters?
Yeah, that and hockey.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Like, I mean, if someone's like, hey, Mark, you got to go fight Alexander Ovechkin. Yeah. I'd be like, well, that's going to hurt. And then they go, and then they're like, oh, yeah, and he has ice skates on, and so do you. I'm like, well, I'm dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It would be interesting to see how the Brazilians would adapt, because I don't think hockey's like a big thing down there.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think everybody would be afraid of Anderson Silva, but once he got on ice skates on a octagon, people might start laughing at him.
He'd be like a baby chicken.
Like, I wouldn't have to fight. I wouldn't have to fight him. I would just have to like stay away from him.
Yeah. Just maybe like land one punch and then just kind of skate away from him for the rest of the fight.
And the thing is, I can't skate, so I'd probably get stuck in the octagon. I would just verbally tap. As soon as he got next to me, I'd quit.
Yeah. I think I want to see this. UFC on ice.
Oh my God. Someone patent that. UFC on ice. Someone patent that before it gets stolen.
UFC 300.
It's like, oh my God, he's got him in a triple Lindy.
Well, to be fair, right now in Russia, they have like 5-on-5 sanctioned fights, and they just had children fights in Chechnya. So there could be MMA, ice skating MMA.
Russia sounds like a really fun place these days.
Yeah, that's great. Everyone's going back.
Screw safety regulations. Let's just go. Let's just ball out.
I want ice skating MMA.
Yeah. All right.
With caramel.
I think that's the answer.
Just need a communist bloc country for that.
All right. So let me go. What's the second question?
Second question comes from Jesse from Camden County, New Jersey. Repeat questioner.
Jesse.
He asks, apparently Skynet programs Austrian accents into their Terminators, but with JCVD, they always toss out some lame excuse, like he's a French Legionnaire, he's Cajun, or from Quebec or whatever. So what movie gave the lamest reason for JCVD's French accent?
So Street Fighter didn't even give a reason.
Right.
They just kind of said, deal with it. But I sort of respect that. So I got to go with Hard Target.
All right.
Because it's like, oh, he's Cajun.
Well, he was Creole or Cajun or whatever.
It doesn't work. Like, if they're like, he's from Montreal. Bloodsport, too, they didn't really give a reason for that either.
No, they did in Bloodsport.
Oh, yeah.
Because you sneeze, you miss it. When he's the kid and he's in Senzo his Shidoshi's house, he says, "You came from France to grow vines. I came here to grow fish. We both grow children."
Yeah, I remember hearing that on How Did This Get Made?
But you know what? In Kickboxer, he is Eric Sloane's brother, Kurt Sloan.
Yeah. I just thought
And then in Time Cop, he plays Agent Max Walker. and in neither of those movies do they even mention the source of this accent that's so thick.
Can I tell you something, though? I mean, I guess I was kind of like thinking about which one, was the worst. But I'm like, what? He speaks 3 languages. So I'm like, that's 2 more than I do.
Right.
So I was kind of like, I'm hating on him, but I got to give him props for speaking several languages.
But he only speaks one accent.
Yeah. I got to go. I'm going with Hard Target still, because they're like, yeah, you're Creole. And then they're like, yeah, you were named Chance Boudreaux because your mom took a chance on you. I don't know who's talking, by the way. But like, I just like, that's just so silly to me. Like, I'd rather them just completely ignore him and call him Kurt. But for me, it's just like, he's Creole. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
In all fairness, though, in Bloodsport, when they basically give a 15-second line from an Asian fish farmer martial arts master who basically identifies, oh, you are French viticulturists and you're the parents of this child, like, that is kind of force feeding you an excuse for this actor's accent.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one clumsy line.
It seemed graceful at the time because he gave that growing metaphor in such a samurai way.
See, what do you think, Laz?
So I guess he has like he voices one of the characters in the Kung Fu Panda series as the Master Croc.
Master Croc.
Yeah, I don't think I don't remember them ever giving him a reason as to why he has that accent. A part of me thinks like,
are you saying that anthropomorphic Chinese crocodile kung fu masters don't have Belgian accents?
I think it's a huge plot hole.
I mean, were you there at the time? You don't know.
He was there.
Yeah. I feel like if Crocs could talk, like they would just naturally have that accent. A part of me wants to believe that. That's how they. That's the accent they would have if they just could talk one day.
JCVD.
Yeah.
I would love that, and then I would get eaten.
Mm-hmm.
I would wish I had my ice skates on. I'm still I like what you said about Bloodsport, how they yada yada it, but I gotta go with. I'm sticking with Hard Target. I mean, I think they just gave him a trench coat, had him grow a mullet, and they're like, just try your best. You're Cajun.
Yeah.
You know,
Just try. They made his hair as greasy as ever.
I mean, that stuff.
Is that a Cajun thing?
I mean, I think it mesmerized the snake and he was able to kill it.
He punched the snake.
Yeah, he punched a snake in the face in Hard Target.
And he knocked it out.
Yeah, he did. I don't know. I just see it. It just was like, it still doesn't sit right with me. Like I'll watch that movie. I like Arnold Vosloo and Lance Henriksen in it a lot. But when I hear him, I'm just like, I don't think I've never worried about his accent in any movie. But in that one, it bothers me. So I'm going to go with that.
His accent bothered me the most. Well, when it wasn't actually him, but it was his character. When it was Kid, Frank Dukes in Bloodsport. Do you remember that?
Oh my goodness!
That I couldn't even tell if that. It's almost like it was an American doing a voiceover of a French accent, but he had never heard a French accent. So instead, it just sounded like an alien trying to sound human. What kind of a deal? Like he was saying the weirdest shit. I think that in 2 listener questions, we've actually mentioned about half of all of Van Damme's movies. Yeah. By the way, he mentioned the Legionnaire thing.
He's in a movie called Legionnaire.
He's in a movie called Legionnaire, and he was a French Legionnaire in Lionheart. And I'm not positive because I haven't seen it forever, but he might have even been a French Legionnaire in The Order, which came out in like 2002 or something.
Yeah, they just love making him a French Legionnaire.
They just got to cover up that accent. He can't act his way out of a French paper bag.
So is that the answer to the question? French paper bag. Yeah. Well, all right.
Belgian paper bag.
Yeah.
Belgian.
All right. Thank you to our listeners for those wonderful listener questions. We enlighten you, but not in the ways you wanted us to. But that's okay. All right. Mark, I think you have the topic for us this week.
Hard Target 2 and Kickboxer, Bland Dude, Retaliation, Judgment Day, Vindiction.
What?
We're going to talk about those 2 movies.
Oh, okay.
Kickboxer Vengeance.
Yeah. Kickboxer Vengeance. And so for me, what I love about these 2 films are they both went direct to DVD. And however, they have big name casts. There's money behind them. And they both actually got pretty big promotional boosts. But they're different because Hard Target 2 does not feature JCVD. And Kickboxer Vengeance features JCVD as the coach now, or the trainer, as opposed to the trainee.
And he does not have a venereal disease.
Yeah.
It's not JCVD VD.
It's JCVD VD.
VD.
We just have to quit because he lives in Thailand, so you want to be sure.
You know, they filmed most of Kickboxer in New Orleans.
Even though it takes place in Thailand?
Yeah, there's a lot of sets, which is pretty impressive.
That's wonderful.
But I just think there's a big market for underground direct-to-DVD films. And actually, there are some very good ones. Recently, the Universal Soldier Regeneration, the 2 Universal Soldiers with Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Scott Adkins.
Oh, Day of Reckoning.
Yeah, Day of Reckoning. Regeneration, Day of Reckoning. They have been really good. I think there's, aside from maybe The Raid 1 and 2, they might be my favorite action films of the last, 10 years. I just love the living daylights out of them. I think they're great. So there are movies that can transcend direct-to-DVD, and these are not them.
So, you mentioned that, so Kickboxer Vengeance, which takes place in Thailand, was mostly filmed in New Orleans, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, And Hard Target Part 1 takes place in Louisiana.
Yeah.
But Hard Target 2 takes place in part in Thailand.
Which they actually filmed on location a lot out there.
Even though it was a direct-to-DVD movie.
Well, see, actually, I was listening to, and I actually read an interview with Scott Adkins. Scott Adkins is a star of Hard Target 2. He is primarily he was a stuntman turned actor. He's done a lot of direct-to-DVD stuff. You might recognize him from maybe Expendables 2. He was Jean-Claude Van Damme's flunky. And he was supposed to have this awesome fight with Jason Statham, but it didn't really work out like that. He's going to be in Doctor Strange coming up. But he's the guy, the Undisputed movies, which are actually really good fight movies that go direct to DVD. The guy is just a physical freak. I mean, he can do spin kicks with the best of them. The only problem
one of his highlights that everyone probably saw is the one good scene from X-Men Wolverine Origins when they were fighting on top of that nuclear, whatever you call it, pillar thing. When it was Ryan Reynolds as Weapon 11, Scott Adkins was doing all the fighting.
Yeah, so they took a mercenary who's known for his mouth and they sewed it shut. But the smart thing they did was have Scott Adkins fight, which is pretty awesome. And in this movie, okay, so Hard Target 2 is directed by this man called Roel Rene. He's actually directed like the Marine 2. Levengood, you passed this on to me, so I'm stealing it from you.
He did nothing but bad sequels.
Death Race 2, Scorpion King 3, Death Race Inferno, 12 Rounds 2, Dead in Tombstone, Dead Again in Tombstone, The Condemned 2, The Man with the Iron Fist 2, Hard Target 2.
Wait, and how many noteworthy Part 1s? 0.
Yeah, and so this guy, what I found out something interesting. So Hard Target 2, it costs $4.5 million to shoot, which isn't bad considering they are on location and the stars probably got a decent payday. Also, they shot it in 20 days, which is impressive considering all the fights. However, this director, Rene, he also is a cinematographer. So he's kind of like a package deal. So that's why he can shoot movies on the cheap. So he's the director / cinematographer of these films. And this movie's garbage. Is garbage too strong a word?
No, and I'm a major Scott Adkins fan, and unfortunately, I have to agree with you. This movie is garbage.
Yeah. So Hard Target 2 takes place. There's about to be a fight, right, guys? At the American World Fighting Championship. The American World Fighting Championship.
The OFCA. Yeah.
The American World Fighting Championship.
Yeah, and they use caramel on their gloves, ice skates, the whole 9 yards.
All right.
So you have Scott Adkins, and then his best friend Bro. I don't know his name. I'm just gonna call him Bro. And at the weigh-in, they kind of go at it. He's like, "I'm gonna kick your ass," and he's like, "Oh yeah, up yours." And then they fight, right? And Scott Adkins is getting his butt whipped for the first 2 rounds, and so he's getting beat up by Bro number 1, and there's this really weird scene where he's getting beat up after the second round, and his coach is like giving him all this instructions, and then Scott Adkins gives the worst line delivery ever. He goes like, "Tell me what I got to do," and then his coach is like, "Knock his head off." And so they go into fight, and I mean, Scott Adkins brutalizes Bro in the 3rd round, and he ends up killing him.
And then we discover that in flashbacks that they were best friends.
Yeah, they were like going to get a beach house together. And like they're best friends, so it makes no sense that they fought during the weigh-ins. And also, what I noticed is Scott Adkins delivers the world's most unnecessary punch ever, or kick in the 3rd round. The guy's out, Bro's out, and Scott Adkins' character Wes Baylor just delivers the ultimate like boom down kick on his best friend. Like all he had to do was kind of push him over, and he won the fight. So Wes Baylor, Scott Adkins throws his kick. And the dude has like a mouthful of water, and he explodes it out of his mouth, and he kills him.
So, like you mentioned, like they're good friends. They shouldn't have fought during the weigh-in. So I thought, based on what we learned later, that they were just acting. But then that didn't make sense during the fight, because after this fight, we learned that they were great friends, all that stuff, right? So I don't understand.
Yeah, there's no reason to act angry at each other. Like they're buds. And so Adkins kills his best friend, and he moves to Thailand and becomes the world's most unbelievable alcoholic.
Wait, so he's like drinking every day, right? And he wakes up with a hangover and takes a sip of liquor, and then he goes and does like organized underground pit fighting.
Yeah, and he's just ripped out of his mind too. So you're like,
that's because he's taken like whey protein powder and putting it in his scotch.
Oh,
and he takes swigs between sit-ups.
I heard Schmitzky's whiskey actually puts protein, so he must be drinking Schmitzky's whiskey.
Can I just ask why he woke up with doves with his hangover smell in his Bangkok bed? Well, there were doves in the bed.
Well, it's a Hard Target thing because Hard Target John Woo loves to use doves.
Yeah, but John Woo didn't suck at using doves.
Well, these guys are terrible at it, and I felt terrible for the doves.
Like they're just sitting there on his bed.
Yeah, it's just they're just calling back to Hard Target.
It was a bad callback.
And then one of the doves I would have fired later on in the movie. Like he's supposed to be walking through on this bridge with like these doves, and this one dove totally bombs the take. Like trips a little bit, and then it kind of stutter steps and has a hard time flying. Adkins almost walks on it. And I would have been like, if I was a director, I'd be like, get that dove out of here. You know?
I don't know. I mean, I got the face-off, hard target, hard-boiled dove thing, but it was just a horrible dove execution.
Wait, that sounded, you had hard-boiled, and then you said hard-boiled dove. I'm like, how does that happen?
Well, I can tell you how it happens, but I don't think you want to know the details.
Yeah, so he's a big-time alcoholic, and he gets into this pit fight, and he you know what, though? You know what annoys me? In one of these pit fights, he obviously has the fight one, and he just blatantly kicks a dude's head through some boards. He didn't have to do that. So he's like this angry, jerky, drunk guy who is mean to his best friend at the weigh-ins, and then he kills him.
In a lame fight.
Yeah.
That was a stupid fight. In terms of fight choreography, it was stupid.
And then, so then Robert Nepper comes up here from, like, Prison Break, and this real rich guy, he's like, hey, I'll give you $500,000 to fight. And Atkins like, I'm not interested. He's like, what do you get, 200? And then Atkins goes, or 200 and a shot of tequila. And then Atkins goes, I get 400 and 2 shots of tequila. And I just wanted to run through the screen and knee him and then get destroyed. But so he turns down 500,000 because, he wants that. But then he starts thinking about it later. He's like, oh, I'm doing my penance. I'm pathetic. I'm sad. I could do this and go buy a beach house.
I'm drinking scotch and petting my dove and thinking it over.
Yeah, and so he goes to this dude's office, and the guy is cutting a large fish on his desk. He's making sushi at his desk.
In the most expensive office ever for an underground fight coordinator.
He literally has the best view in the entire city. And then push becomes shove, and Scott Adkins gets pushed into a game where a bunch of dummies hunt him.
Yeah, so, I mean, really, if that Ice-T Rutger Hauer movie, Surviving the Game, from 1994, and Van Damme's Hard Target from 93 had a sweaty, muscled child, and that abtastic child was hunted for sport, that would be this movie.
But better.
But yeah, that would be this bad movie.
So I learned a few things from this movie. I just want to let you guys know.
Oh, dear.
Water knife fights are very boring.
Oh, and except for the one slow-mo shot that didn't suck, and everything else about that fight was horrible.
I like people fighting in water is really boring.
Isn't that the end of like one of the James Bond movies? I think it was like Thunderball or something. There's like this huge underwater battle, and it was just like so underwhelming.
So
yeah, it was so long too. It was a bunch of dudes just like murdering each other underwater.
I can't help but to think this was a Lionheart influence because Robert Nepper as Aldrich kind of smacked a little bit of, I think the character's name was Cynthia, who was coordinating the fights in Lionheart. And in Lionheart, one of his fights was in a pool that was half filled with water.
And they were in leotards?
And they were in leotards like he was going to do ballet. And so I don't know. There's too many quick correlations that I feel like it had to be a Lionheart throwback.
Yeah, it could be. And then, you're right. I think there's a lot of touches in here. Also, I was worried about Poison Ivy a lot in this movie.
Out there, it's like Poison Asia. I mean, they've got all sorts of horrible plants probably out there.
Yeah, and so like, and then also these people that are hunting him, there's a father and a son, there's a matador, there's Rona Mitra, and they have a GPS on Adkins, which is cheating. They're stupid dirt bikers. Like, it's the worst thing ever.
Well, we didn't know there was GPS until later in the movie.
Spoiler.
And yeah, spoil everything. Because, like, Aldrich, every time they need something, they're like, oh, gosh, our motorcycles aren't going to make it through here. He, like, waves his hand, and within 10 seconds, there's, like, 3 4-wheel drive SUV Hummer whatevers. And then, like, he's too far away for our crossbows, and he waves his hand and like, automatic weapons in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, he just snapped his finger and things appeared, like he was Morpheus in the training module in the Matrix.
And then also, there's no like urgency to Adkins' performance. He doesn't seem scared. He doesn't seem worried. He's not like, there's no like if Paul Walker was in a Hard Target movie, I think it would have been awesome because he freaks out so good.
All running scared.
Yeah, like running scared. Yeah, exactly. Like he freaks out amazingly. But Adkins, I always wonder why he's not a bigger star. But then I see him act in some movies.
Whoa,
like,
hold on. This is by far his worst performance, and also probably his worst script.
Yeah, I mean, this script is bad.
Again, I love Scott Adkins, but yeah, I'm sorry, I got to ream him on this. But, but how about his voice?
Oh gosh!
In the first 40 minutes of the movie, he always kind of talks like Adrian Brody trying to find out where those predators are.
Yeah. He had tough guy voice,
and then all of a sudden it stops, like after he makes a friend, and then he's just like talking like Scott Adkins. What was that?
Yeah, he met a buddy. He ran into an elephant, and then she goes, "Did you want to fight my elephant?" He's like, "No."
He accused that elephant of throwing the first punch. That's a quote.
Yeah, and I guess it was supposed to be funny, but Adkins delivers it like he's angry.
So he threw the first punch.
Yeah,
I'm still speaking gruffly.
And you're kind of like, wait, I think he's serious. I think he wanted to fight that elephant.
He just knew it was out of his weight class.
Yeah, and then so he teams up with her, and then they do some stuff. You want to hear something interesting?
Fire away.
So he didn't have his regular team of choreographers with him on this one.
Clearly.
It was so fast, so that's why the fights are pretty lame.
That makes a lot of sense, though, too, because like when we see him in Undisputed 2, which is kind of what put him on the map for being on the screen and credited for his role, he was working opposite Michael Jai White, who is amazing and even helped train him. And then in this, like, a fighter can only look as good as their stuntmen and martial artist screen. I don't know what to call them. Co-stars are.
Yeah.
If they suck at martial arts, you can't look good. You just can't. So that's why his stunts look okay when he jumps and does a split kick, whatever, for a moment. But when he's actually exchanging techniques with someone, it looks terrible. Like when he exchanges techniques with Rona Mitra, who thought that I think that she was cast as the TX Terminator.
Yeah, there's the weirdest explosion walking scene ever.
Dude, she's walking 10 feet from an explosion and is slowly pulling out 2 crossbows. It doesn't hinder her for a moment.
And also, at 47 minutes in, so I don't know if you guys remember, you know how Michael Phelps, before every race, he kind of like, he's standing up straight, he puts his arms out like in a cross position, and then he kind of like wraps them around himself, like front and back. Like, and the punches were like that in this movie, where you're just kind of like standing like in a crossing and then throwing one arm in at a time, like perfectly blocked. So at 47 minutes in, I've never done this before, notice the bad punch, but I don't know why I had to remember the time. But at 47 minutes in Hard Target 2, there's like the worst punch I think I've ever seen in my life.
So many things were so sloppy in this movie, though. For instance, when he comes out of the water, and a couple other times in the movie, by the way, you see his knee pads under his jeans. It's multiple. It's not like one moment for half a second. I mean, like 3 different scenes for multiple seconds. You just see them, the outline of them sticking out like Ninja Turtle knee pads.
So, Laz, did you watch this movie?
No, I was going to
Okay,
catch
good.
Hard Target 1.
Laz,
I never.
Did you look at screenshots of Rona Mitra from this movie?
Yeah, I've seen screenshots of her before.
Is it me? No, in this movie.
Oh, this movie? No.
Yeah, because she's like 40 now. And like when I see her in this movie, I don't care how much makeup they put on her, and I don't care how much time she spends in the gym. She looks like amazing at 40. It makes me think of like Kate Beckinsale coming up for Underworld 5 and Jovovich coming into Resident Evil Part 17 or whatever it is.
Yeah, she was in Underworld 3, Rona Mitra.
That's right. Yeah, Rise of the Lycans.
Jeez Louise.
Forever ago. But I mean, those women are all kicking some serious butt. But in this Rona Mitra, like, she gets kicked through a wall and then just gets up like she's the Terminator.
Yeah. And I think, yeah. You know what I think it was? I think it's just the awesome Henley that Scott Adkins wore in this movie.
So remember how, like, they're going through the forest, and every time they need something, Aldrich waves his hands or whatever. And then they pull out those motorcycles that are more equipped than the Batmobile.
Oh, brother.
And they're showing this chase scene of motorcycles through the woods. And all I can think is, one, they're going to hit a root node and flip. And two, I don't think ever since anyone saw Jurassic World, anyone will ever again care about a motorcycle chase in the jungle unless they're velociraptors. And there were no velociraptors in this movie.
And there was no mulleted JCVD standing on top of a motorcycle ready to, like, jump on somebody.
And there were no unconscious JCVD knocked out rattlesnakes.
So before we get to the end of this, I just want to talk about the end. So Adkins goes up to Nepper, right? But then all of a sudden Nepper has 5 people out of nowhere, like 5 fighters.
On the bridge.
Yeah,
He's on the bridge
yeah.
trying to cross from Myanmar, where Aldrich had paid off the government or something to hold his kill games. And so he's on the bridge, and Robert Nepper Aldrich calls out 5 henchmen, and he pulls out a cooler of beer.
Yeah, but like those people had never been there before. So you're like, who are these people? And then so Scott Adkins, he's not likable at all in this movie. There's a woman in part of this group. He goes, "Oh, a little girl." Like, I'm like, come on, guy. You were just fighting against like a T-1000 Rona Mitra, and your teammate is like a woman that saves your life. Like, so he's kind of like a jerk too.
Yeah, it's horrible, horrible writing.
Yeah, and then they have the worst fight scene. He wins, and then he starts a karate school.
But yeah, but he killed 5. He beats 5 people in a row, and then all of a sudden Aldrich is like, "Oh, well, now you fight my right hand man," and then he beats him, and he gets his gun, and I mean, Robert Nepper actually had like every chance possible to end Adkins, who's a huge liability to his manhunt business, and yet he pulls like a Bond villain by like closing the doors before Bond is killed by his overly elaborate trap.
Yeah.
It doesn't make, he should be dead. He should be so dead.
Yeah.
You know, well, I'll say one great thing about this movie. There were like 3 2-second gorgeous sweeping shots of the jungle.
Oh my gosh, that waterfall scene and then
Yeah,
the scene with the elephants.
Yeah, there were just a few gorgeous shots that only lasted a couple seconds.
So, Scott Adkins said he was covered in shit the entire time.
I think that's just how he felt filming it.
No, he said, he's like, elephant shit, this kind of shit. He's like, I had shit on me for 20 days.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Wait, can we just say, this guy who did all these sequels, when we listed them off, I'm sure you know that there was a lot of slow-mo in them. So Rona Mitra and the explosion is pulling out her crossbows in slow-mo. Scott Adkins jumps in slow-mo to shoot a bow and arrow. Like, slow-mo is making none of this look better, people who make movies who are listening.
Yeah. I wonder if it's just cheaper. I wonder if he needs to make the movie longer.
I swear, it has to be more expensive. It has to be.
There's a phantom camera out there that's like used in very few movies.
Because don't you then have more frames that need to be CGI edited for that explosion that clearly didn't exist because it didn't knock Rona Mitra 80 feet?
I think that it was real and it was just fire shooting up in the air.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. I think now is a good time to take a break. I think during the break, I am going to ordered that unnecessary pizza that Levingood was talking about. The anchovies and the pineapple and maybe some olives. I don't know.
Olives?
Yeah. Olives, jalapenos.
Dude, anchovies and pineapple. All I can think of is anchovy juice getting on a rogue chunk of pineapple. That sounds awful.
That sounds so good. All right. We'll be back in a little bit.
Resident Evil, BioShock, The Last of Us, Silent Hill. What do those all have in common, John?
Games that you still have not given back to me.
Well, you wanted those back?
Well, yeah.
They're no good.
What are you using those games for?
Well, I'm part of this podcast, John, and so are you.
What's the podcast called?
It's called Horror Play.
What do we do in Horror Play?
Well, we rate games. We play them, we rate them, we stream them sometimes.
Oh, wow. Where can I find this podcast?
Little website, www.sharkdropper.com.
If I check it out, will you give those games back to me?
No.
Oh. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. So, Levingood brought up an interesting point when I went to commercial break. It's like, Laszlo, did we talk about that unnecessary pizza on air or was it off air? I'm like, you know what? I don't know.
I'm actually pretty sure it was off air.
So I may have made a reference to something that occurred off air.
But now everyone is like, Domino's should owe us money. Yeah. We should get royalties every time someone orders pineapples and
here's the thing, though. Like, I don't want to explain that off-air reference. Like, I want to keep it a mystery. Like, what's this about an unnecessary pizza? Well,
the only thing I want to reveal is that Domino's owes us money.
Yeah, they do. And you know what? I even came up with a great tagline for them.
Oh, really?
Remember it? Domino's Pizza, Domino's.
Is that actually a tagline?
A theme song.
A theme song. I like it as a theme song.
Imagine like people on a beach, right? It's a really hot day. They're playing volleyball like Top Gun. They have pizza in one hand. They're playing volleyball. And it's just Domino's Pizza, Domino's.
Yeah, he recorded like a 23-minute song.
Yeah, I'm pitching it to him.
Yeah. All right, Levingood. I think we have some we have more listener questions to get through, right?
That's right. So again, Joe from Prattville, Alabama asks, what if in a real fight, people sounded like Van Damme when he kicks and punches? I mean, it sounds like he's taking the biggest shit of his life for delivering a baby.
I would love it. This goes back to our Snowpiercer days where we're talking about people dunking axes into fish, and that's when you attack them. There are some scenes in JCVD's movies, right, where he just spends the longest time yelling before he kicks.
Ah!
So, like, and also, like,
and after he kicks, like he's
before,
on
if he was moving in slow motion like his movies, I would have I could telegraph his punches pretty I would still get destroyed, but if I heard, I'd be like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like I could get out of the distance a little bit.
You think he plays poker in a similar manner? Like every time he's about to bluff, he's like, ah! That's definitely a tell.
Like the river comes down.
I think it's funny how when he's making that sound, his body is usually frozen in motion. Like if you were actually fighting him while he was freezing, going like you just punch him in the face.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's my fish axe dipped into fish moment. Like when he's making those noises, that's where I'm punching. I'm gonna throw the Tampa windmill on him.
The Tampa windmill. I feel like it's got kind of like what I would call the rape whistle effect. Like when he's in a fight, if you just knew there was a fight going on, like people might want to see a fight, but they might try to avoid a fight. But if you heard this from around the corner, you'd be like, what is that sound? Like you're going to come look what that sound is. And then potentially have someone call the police for you.
Yeah.
Like it's such a weird sound that he makes.
I mean, that's his thing. It was his thing. Like in the 80s, he had some things. He did splits.
And it goes back to back in the day. Like this goes back to Bloodsport and Kickboxer. He's doing this stuff.
He did splits, he did kicks, and he did his yells. Like that. And they were great. They were great splits, kicks, and yells. I call them the SS. Y's. Wait, SK. Wait. Yeah, SKY. I call him Sky.
Skies.
Yep.
It's all about the skies.
Sorry, guys. I've had a long day. I'm beat. That's why my brain's not working too functional.
So, I mean, that really is like a WTF sound that he makes, though. Like, it's almost like, you know how, like, there's the frilled lizard in nature where it's meant to, like, shock its predator? Maybe Van Damme does that because he thinks his opponent is tougher than him. So he's like, if I yell like crazy, it's like saying "Ki," and in martial arts, it's like it's meant to shock your opponent. Maybe he's basically like a frilled lizard, scared of his large Chong Li opponent.
So he's peacocking.
He's peacocking, exactly. He's like yelling really loud, trying to scare him, like a Pomeranian on a barking binge.
Yeah. So like, let's say Lazvath, you're really angry at me, right?
Yeah.
And, I'm standing there one day just eating my unnecessary pizza. And you just come out and just blank me out, right? Mm-hmm. I don't see you coming. However, if you pull a JCVD, a good 30 seconds before you even hit me, I'd hear a... And, like, I would be on guard immediately.
But then when you rush at Lazavath, he'd do a split uppercut to the nuts.
Yeah.
Gosh. He does so many of those.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing one right now.
Lazavath is like, I mean, in high school, in the yearbook, he was voted most likely to do a split and uppercut someone in the nuts.
Like, that's a really easy... listen, I've never defended someone doing a split uppercut to the nuts. But I feel like if you just put your foot out and sort of kick them back a little bit, if I was a trained fighter, right? If I was equally as trained as him, and he went down to the ground and I scouted him, I would just, kick him backwards.
Do you think that Van Damme has ever dropped his body on top of his testicles while doing a quick drop split?
I mean, yeah.
That would hurt.
I mean, it's had to have happened.
Like, that's why he makes that sound.
Yeah. He's just still hurting. Listen, I'm all for it. If you're
like in Bloodsport, when he uppercutted that sumo wrestler in the balls, yep. He was making that sound because he actually landed on his own balls.
So to all of our listeners, please, if you're going to fight us, please do us a favor and let us know with a loud grunt and then a split. But be like 15 feet from us. So if I'm ever out and about, if I'm shopping, I hear that noise, I know that you're close. Like no sneak, there's no sneaking up in Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. He grunts. So just throw me a grunt.
All right. So I think the answer to that question is just
split and grunt from 15 feet.
Okay. All right. I think we have one more question.
One more from Neil from Greenville, South Carolina, and he asks, Arnold did Kindergarten Cop. The Rock did The Game Plan and The Tooth Fairy. But JCVD hasn't done a live-action cutesy movie yet. If he did, what kind of character would he be?
He would be the coach for a hockey team in what's Montreal's team? The
Canadians.
Yeah, the Canadians. He would be the coach, right? Former player. He lives hard, plays hard, former Hall of Famer hockey player. He's taken his team to the Stanley Cup, and he realizes he has a kid. That's like the Tooth Fairy or The Game Plan. That's the one with The Rock. Vin Diesel.
You mean like a baby?
Like a grown kid. Right?
So is he like a Mighty Duck, his kid?
Are we talking about like the pacifier type movie? Or are we talking like the spy next door where he has to protect them? Or are we doing with a movie where like he has to like learn life lessons?
I'm pretty sure. Well, he can learn life lessons, but it has to be a cutesy movie, according to the question.
Yeah, it's like PG. He's a coach. Like a French Canadian.
You're gonna say a Canuck?
Yeah, Canuck. And he's a French Canadian hockey coach. And works perfectly with the accent, and he learns to love his kid. It's adorable. He acts, he cries. He teaches his kid hockey. He learns life lessons. The woman he's with hates the kid, and then she tries to drive the kid against him. But then he finds out that the woman's no good, so she goes away. Then he, realizes he's always been in love with his, really great team owner, and he and she fall in love. And the kid is good. The kid becomes a star hockey, the first ever woman to play in the NHL.
Wow. I feel like you've had this written before.
What's up?
I feel like you've had this written down for a while.
It just came naturally to me. I thought about Sudden Death, that movie, and I was like, what's the next logical progression?
Just like fatherhood would come naturally to Van Damme.
That's right.
Yeah. So for me, I think it'd be awesome to see JCVD in a maybe Love Actually type of movie where it's like a little mini anthology of like different characters, but like Jean-Claude Van Damme would be playing all the characters.
Wait, the men and the women?
Yeah. I wanna. Well, no, maybe not like the men and women, but he would be like.
Is he doing the clumps?
He would be like he would be like in every story of like this little mini anthology, kind of like if we could call it like a JCVD actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want to see that movie.
Like remember Rowan Atkinson in Love Actually? Like he did like the flowers.
Yeah.
With
when he was the mall sales rep.
Is he popping up in everyone like that?
Yeah.
He's just popping up. Was he like an angel in that supposedly or something? Rowan Atkinson, like he's like some mystical figure.
Yeah.
I love it. Is he wearing a pork pie hat and just a tank top the whole movie?
If he wants to.
Nice.
I really want to see this movie, but I have a natural affinity to it because someone just said Love Actually in a sentence.
Yeah.
So, for me, I was kind of thinking the Mark route, except I was thinking like, remember 3 Men and a Baby, how these 3 guys are kind of like these haphazardly ill-prepared fathers with, an infant? I was thinking of Van Damme in that role by himself, just as that haphazard dad. And it's a role we've seen like 20 times.
Wait, 3 babies and a man.
JCVD and a baby? JCVD and 3 babies?
There we go. What am I going to do with all these babies?
But I mean, I thought of that, and then I also thought, like, because the questioner, Neil, he said, well, Arnold did Kindergarten Cop, and of course, when he wrote that, the first thing I thought of was, and Dolph did Kindergarten Cop 2, and they both have accents. And then I thought, what if Van Damme was Kindergarten Cop 3, and we're just rounding out European accents?
Oh, that sounds good. I'd love to see him actually act, because I don't know. I think Dolph sort of had fun in Kindergarten Cop 2 with the kids. Like it showed a nicer side of him. So I'd like to see Jean-Claude act with children.
He acted a little bit in that movie JCVD, but it was still under an action pretense, and so it didn't feel so natural. Mm-hmm. Like his acting typically doesn't feel supernatural, or very natural is what I mean, not supernatural like Ghosts. But yeah, I agree. I'd really like to see him in a situation where the acting is purely acting and not under an action pretense.
And I'd like to see him as a coach because he could still like yell and be funny and be cocky, but then he also have to show a nicer side. It would be like a mixture of Kurt Russell from Miracle meets The Rock from The Tooth Fairy.
Interesting.
Make it happen.
All right, Neil.
We're associate producers.
Totally associate producers. Neil from Greenville gets a writing credit for inspiring us.
Co-writer.
Assistant co-writer.
Producer.
Executive assistant producer.
Co-writer, writer.
Is that the final answer?
Yep.
Co-writer.
Wait, co-writer?
Assistant co-writer.
No, assistant to the the co-writer.
The assistant to the assistant co-writer.
Yeah. There you go.
That basically means that he puts labels on coffee with names on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an art.
All right.
Like those Subway sandwich artists.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you once again to our listeners for those wonderful listener questions. Mark, do you want to pick up the second half of the topic?
Kickboxer Vengeance.
Woo!
So
2016. You can get it on video on demand right now. Guess how many producers it has, guys?
oh dear. Is it an upsetting number like 8?
Well, give me a number.
8.
Okay, 8. Lazveth?
11.
36.
Bullshit.
30. IMDb page. Go to the producers. 36.
Wow.
Is Van Damme one of them?
No. So
Really?
like this is a very, very, like, it's very expensive actually. This movie cost $35 million.
It's expensive for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the production value is really good. The director, he had directed John Stockwell. He had actually directed movies like Into the Blue, Blue Crush. He did that Halle Berry movie Dark Tide, and he did Turistas, which is like a horror movie on the beach. So he's done a lot of beach filming, and it's kind of interesting. So you have this guy who's done these big Hollywood productions. You have a big $35 million budget. You have 36 producers, and you get Kickboxer Vengeance.
36 producers has got to create a lot of disagreement about the direction of a movie.
Well, I think they're saying 17 million here. That doesn't seem well. They're saying 17 million on this.
Do you think the 17 excludes all advertising and movie company based budgeting?
No, you got to add that in. But I guess what I'm thinking is, since this is a smaller film and since it is very expensive for a VOD film, I think it had to have a lot of producers to help run the money. I think there's a lot of international money in this. I think they made, a lot of movies now, they'll make deals with, China. So a movie came out, Manhattan Nights, with Adrian Brody. It went straight to DVD, but Jackie Chan was one of the producers. I think since it's kind of an international market, this was planned on being an international film. And it's also, a smaller budget one, so they needed more producers. So that's why I think there were 36 for this film. But it tells the incredible true story of an incredibly bland man looking to avenge his brother's death at the hand of Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, Dave Bautista. And he gets trained by JCVD, who's still the best. And he eventually overcomes his demons and defeats Batista.
So what's so cool about this, and dumb, depending on your point of view, is that this is not a sequel to Kickboxer. It's a reimagining where Van Damme, who was the original star and Avenger in Kickboxer, is now the trainer.
Yeah, and what's kind of weird about this movie is, so the actor in here, he's a longtime stuntman. He's Jai Courtney's stuntman. His name is Alan Moosey. The dude can do flips, kicks, athletic. But what I thought, I want to see what you thought about this, Levin Good. During a lot of his choreography, I thought it was fluid. I thought it was fine, but it never felt like it. It felt almost too rehearsed. Whereas when I think JCVD does it, stuntmen hate working with him. Like Liam Hemsworth was telling a story about how he almost broke one of his ribs. Like JCVD gets in a lot of trouble because he really likes to hit people. So I didn't notice. I want to know if you noticed the difference between when he was on his own, Moosey, or I guess his name is Kurt Sloan in this movie, and when JCVD was on the screen.
Well, I didn't, other than the fact that when JCVD was on the screen, the fights looked a lot better. When they were fighting each other, remember, during the training scenes, they looked a lot better because they are both very capable fighters. And more, what's this guy's name who played the kickboxer?
Alain Moosey.
Moosey, okay. And so Moosey is a much better stuntman than Van Damme, but because Van Damme is playing the superior character, he doesn't need to be as good of a stuntman. So it all always looked very good because Van Damme's never getting knocked down by Moosey in these scenes.
I guess
so I thought their scenes looked great. All the other scenes were haphazard. They had to be one-sided to look good. By the way, I never, ever, ever, ever cared about any of the fights in this movie.
I did I like George St. Pierre in this. George St. Pierre is the former UFC champion, retired now. He could beat up everybody in this movie, well, except for Cain Velasquez and Fabricio Werdum. But George St. Pierre plays this little drunk guy Like he had a gimmick in this movie, and I liked it. There's funny things in this movie. Like George St. Pierre is always drunk.
A lot of effort went into this movie. I'm not going to lie.
And St. Pierre got beat up, and then he lost his job at the doorman as at Tung Po's David Bautista's place. I like that. They made some split jokes. There's a really funny scene where the guy Alain Moussi is doing splits, and JCVD isn't impressed. There's a scene where these random guys are walking around with glass panels that just are obviously going to get broken through. George St. Pierre in one scene goes, "I am not impressed with your performance," and he said that about Matt Hughes way back in the day when they were fighting, like before UFC 56. So there's like a lot of fun callbacks, and I actually got a lot of it, and I enjoyed this movie. But I just feel bad saying this, but the main star was terrible. Not terrible, very athletic, good at action, but the guy's acting was really bad.
It was very bad, but the writing wasn't exactly awesome either.
Yeah, but I liked George St. Pierre always drinking.
Yeah,
and I liked Batista's character. He was like a different variation. He was like a Zen.
Right. Can we pause and just talk about Tung Po?
Yeah, Tung Po.
So Tung Po, right, in the original, was played by a guy of what ethnicity, Mark?
Oh, wait. He was Belgian and
Arabic or Canadian or something?
Yeah, so he wasn't...
Nothing Asian.
Yeah. And so actually Dave Bautista, I think a review from Variety was like, yeah, since, Bautista has some, Filipino blood in him, he's actually more Asian than the other Tung Po.
Than the original Tung Po in 1989.
Yeah,
I loved hearing that.
Yeah, so he actually, I just like that a reviewer figured that out.
Yeah, and he's huge. What's interesting to me is that, our fighter in this, so Tung Po does organized fights that are underground, but somehow also sanctioned.
Yeah, this movie doesn't work well. All right, so it worked in the 80s. It did not work well. It doesn't work well in 2016.
But so, he's killed half of the people he's ever fought.
Yeah.
He has an official record, and he challenges Tung Po officially. They're going to fight, but it's an underground, basically, death match that's illegal.
With rounds.
With rounds, right. And there are rules to when weapons come into play. We'll get to that later. But, so this movie is in many ways all over the place. But so this Tung Po, who's a total killer, right? And in the original, he was a backbreaker and a rapist.
Yeah.
In the original movie. So in this, he's a killer, but he's very spiritual. And he abides by challenges, and it's interesting. He's almost like the head monk of a sanctuary where he trains other monks. But then when you get him in the ring, he's a stone cold killer, and he basically wants to kill.
Yeah, and
so there were a lot of weird imbalances in the writing and the character about that.
I just think in our day and age, no one would be so. All right, so. Here's how it breaks down. So you have the character Kurt Sloan. His brother is a kickboxing champ, and so his brother Eric gets a call to go train and go fight Tung Po. Gina Carano, former MMA fighter, comes over. She gets Eric over. He's going to fight Tung Po. Kurt gets a letter saying that his brother's going to fight Tung Po. You know what annoyed me about that scene? So Kurt's in the middle of a training session. So that woman drove to the gym. She paid for her training time, and he canceled it short and just left. So, should she get a refund on her training? No.
We're just going back to that great writing.
Yeah, and so this guy, Kurt, has no idea where the flight is. He lands, immediately gets into a cab, and shows up at the place, gets in no problem. So this is like an underground death match, but he just runs right up to it, knows exactly where it is.
It's totally senseless. And by the way, can we just point out that Eric Sloan, the brother who gets killed, who is the revenge and motive in this movie, is it me or does he look like the king of a country of date rapists. I'm sorry. They made him look like the biggest douchebag on the planet. I feel like the people from the Jersey Shore look like upright citizens next to him.
Oh, you're not going to like hearing this.
Uh-oh.
He died of an overdose last year.
Bullshit.
Right after the movie ended.
Ooh.
All right, look, I'm very sorry about that actor, but I'm referring to the
Awkward.
character.
Awkward.
Are you joking with me right now?
No, I'm not joking with you right now.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, he was definitely kind of bro-ish. But what I don't get is
No, I mean the hair and the blonde weird hairstyle. It was like he was like a greaser douchebag MMA fighter. It was weird.
and he was a champion. And I don't think, in today's world, 2016, right? There's champions of many organizations, Bellator, World Series of Fighting. Like, they're well-known guys. Like, this guy works for everything, becomes the champ. And someone goes, hey, man, you want to go fight in a underground death match? And he goes, yeah. Like, that's not like he ditches his organization, ditches his titles. I mean, he basically throws away everything he worked for to go fight a guy in Muay Thai who is much more trained than he is.
And wait, can we just add, like, not just out of his weight class, but double his weight class?
Yeah, so he's fighting a guy double his weight class. He gives up his belt. He's the champ. So he actually gets the big money fights now. And he went over there and trained for a while. So this guy, he could have just stayed and been a champ. Like, I guess, in the 80s, like the Kumite and the fighting, let's see, I was renting UFC tapes in the 90s. So, I mean, that was even before the UFC even started. So, MMA had been around, Pride, et cetera, but maybe some, one discipline against the other, kickboxing against, whatever. So that's a possibility. But in this day and age, there's no scouting report on him. He doesn't know who this guy is. This guy is a champion, leaves everything, stays at Jean-Claude Van Damme's pad, gets trained in Muay Thai. He could do that in Holland. There's great Muay Thai fighters, kickboxers. And then he gets killed.
All right, so Lazavath.
Yeah.
I need to know your feelings on something. Sure. So neither Eric nor Kurt Sloan had a proper training montage.
Right.
There was some training.
Right, no, there were training scenes, but Van Damme had this long training montage where sometimes you jump back and forth between 8 alternating shots between 2 or 3 training timelines. Whereas, I don't know, I never felt a montage. It was 3 minutes with 5 or 6 scenes. It didn't feel like a Rocky montage. It didn't feel like a Van Damme montage. If that was a montage, it was a poor one.
So it didn't live up to your montage standards?
Yeah, if I'm just defining a montage very strictly,
yeah,
then instead I'll say it was a crappily poor, unelaborate montage.
Well, and the training didn't even matter because in the beginning of the film, when he's with the cop, the lady who's basically looks like Olivia Munn but can act,
with giant boobs,
and so they're together, and he gets cornered by about 15 henchmen, and he destroys every single one of them. He just destroys all these henchmen. And then he's like, I need to get trained, JCVD. I'm like, what? I guess there wasn't too much of a learning curve there for me. He was always...
No, we're going on video game theory. When you're in the video game, the first 50 guys you encounter are easy, but then you hit the boss.
Yeah. But that's not as exciting for me. I don't know. He always seemed like a badass. And also, in the first Kickboxer, I'm pretty certain JCVD killed a guy in that when he's dancing.
In the bar fight?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain he killed one of the stuntmen. In this movie, I never felt like a stuntman died.
I definitely have to agree with that. So you brought up that woman, though, and I mentioned boobs, but whatever, because there's a totally gratuitous sex scene. And I don't think any Thai woman that thin has boobs that big.
Well, it's really sad, too, because at the end of it, she looks depressed.
But so that relationship that develops between her, the cop, who is sort of investigating him and sort of protecting him. Is it me, or did their relationship just kind of appear on screen by magic? Like, it didn't develop.
Yeah, it caught me off guard. That's for sure.
And then, like, so he's arrested for being in this underground fighting. And then she's like, oh, you can stay under house arrest with your trainer Van Damme, but you can't leave. And then later, he's in another underground fight, and she just watches. And then later, she says, oh, you're under arrest. Like, I don't really understand how their legal system is working here. So, wait. So, I watched this movie with 4 people, and I have 4 quotes. 1 about the love story, and 3 about something else. Can I share these quotes?
Sure.
Please.
So the first one comes from Andrew from Kentucky. He actually said, fighting on elephants. By the way, elephants and Thailand in both movies. Mm-hmm. But he said, fighting on elephants and the sloppiest love story ever equals when. He was appreciating the bad moviness of it, I think.
Fake elephants.
But so the other 3 quotes pertain to something else, and I have to ask you guys. When you watched this movie and people were speaking Thai, did you see subtitles?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my friend downloaded this movie, and we evidently got it without subtitles.
You downloaded it legally, right? Right, Levinson? Like,
I can neither confirm nor deny that it was even downloaded. It could have been magic. I don't know.
I paid for it on Vudu, guys. It's okay.
No, I can confirm nor deny nothing.
Right.
I paid for it.
I can neither confirm nor deny that Lazavath is a centaur bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So either way, we downloaded it. We didn't have subtitles for whatever reason. And one of the people, so we watched this movie with no subtitles. There were whole scenes in Thai police stations with no subtitles. And so my friend Rick said, I love the sporadic Thai discourse without subtitles. I couldn't quite make out what they were saying, but whatever was discussed seemed both moving and essential to the plot. So, guys, you saw this. Was it ever essential to the plot? Did it make sense of the house arrest and then not stopping the illegal underground fights?
Well, she was kind of held back by that because one of the cops, he knew that was going on, and they were fighting her the whole time.
No, there was a time when they just when they all rushed the scene of the underground fight. They arrived and just all stopped and watched.
I mean, you got to finish the fight.
But they rushed onto the scene like they
didn't want to miss it.
I don't. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe they were like, "Crap, let's bust in because we're gonna miss this."
All right. Sarah said the subtitles have inspired me to learn Thai because I'm sure whatever I missed was as amazing as the English dialogue. Also, Random Kids and Sword Lady really rounded out the cast. This brings me to a question. Who were those kids and that woman who worked in Van Damme's dojo?
What I loved about those kids I have a lot of questions about movies. Like in Daredevil, there's this scene where Jennifer Garner is tearing up these bags filled with sand.
The sandbags with her side.
And she drew faces on them and stuff. I'm like, who did that? Who hangs those up? But in Kickboxer, we learned that these kids actually hang up the coconuts that they smash. So I was like, oh.
But who are the kids?
They're just local ruffians that hung out at JCPDs. They probably swept and cleaned, got a few bucks.
Like, why weren't they in school?
Summer.
Okay, could be summer. That's fair. But so it was these 2 kids who were both, I don't know, between 8 and 10.
I mean, maybe they're coming after school.
11.
Maybe they're coming before and after school.
Wait, they're 2 young kids between, like, we'll call it 8 and 10, 8 and 11, whatever. And then there's a woman who's maybe 30 who's helping train with swords.
Yeah, the mom.
Is that Van Damme's wife that they never acknowledged as being his wife?
No, she's just the mom of those 2 kids.
Like, but they never acknowledged these people.
I mean, they've been there for a long time. They don't gotta say, "Hey, Ricky," every day.
I mean, yeah, they could have been there since 1989's Kickboxer.
I mean, they're just hanging out. They're part of the crew there.
It would be interesting if that Tung Po was the same Tung Po from 1989, just older, And Van Damme just stayed in Thailand after he beat Tung Po in '89, and Tung Po just kept fighting.
I wish this movie, right? Kurt Sloan comes over to avenge his brother Eric Sloan. JCVD trains him, but then Kurt Sloan gets killed by Tung Po. So it's about JCVD avenging the two brothers that he trained who got killed.
So to round out the subtitles quotes, there was one more person after Rick, Andrew, and Sarah. Alyssa watched this movie with us, and I've got to thank these people for sitting through this movie with me. The lack of subtitles opens your creative side to figure out the inner workings of the Thai justice system and how it views underground fighting rings. Apparently, you can be thrown in prison for harboring a fugitive whom the Thai police specifically asked you to house in the first place. Overall, A+.
Great film. My biggest question about this film. So at the end, right? Tung Pao's fighting Kurt Sloan. Everybody in the crowd has a beer. A glass of beer, a cup of beer.
Where'd they get those beers? There's no bar.
Yeah, it's like an underground fight, too. Like, this beer vendor's cleaning up.
And there's no coolers, right? Yeah, there's got to be a beer vendor.
He's making money. And, like, people are drinking. Everybody has a drink. This guy is banking. You know
this
what?
is how Gina Carano makes money.
If I was Eric Sloan or Kurt Sloan, I would be like, hey, I don't want to fight. I want to sell beers at your fights.
That's where that $500,000 prize came from.
I mean, you know the beers are probably $8 each because they're at an illegal. I mean, you got people in the ringer because they're in an illegal death match. Like you kind of have to pay whatever you have to pay whatever the prices are. You're not going to complain about it. You know what I mean?
You came to bet on illegal death fighting.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about being price gouged at an illegal death fight.
So, by the way, there was a bar scene that was kind of like the original Kickboxers. The original Kickboxers scene where Master Zien takes Kurt Sloan Van Damme to this bar, gets him drunk, gets him dancing with the girls, and then tells some guys, whispers something, I don't know, about their mother or something, and they all fight Van Damme. So they take our new Kurt Sloan in this new movie to a bar, and it's just more organized fighting.
Yeah, and I'm wondering who owns this bar because a lot of their bar gets wrecked every week.
Is there organized fighting everywhere in Thailand?
1 in 3 spots.
Is that just how that works? Like, does that include Starbucks?
No, they made a deal, but
they're the 1 out of the 3.
They're at Einstein's Bagels and every other Dunkin' Donuts.
That's the 2 and the 3 out of 3.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's that craziness, right? I don't know.
And also, what bothered me is, so in this fight, Kurt Sloan is fighting Cain Velasquez, former UFC champ, heavyweight, one of the baddest dudes on the planet. He's getting his butt kicked.
Is that big guy in the bar?
Yeah, Cain Velasquez, yeah. JCVD had 5,000 on it, and not dollars, whatever the money was over there. But then he just went and knocked out Cain. So then basically he lost his money then. So that was a very expensive night.
I'm surprised that everyone didn't break bottles over his head after that.
I would be, yeah, because he cheated.
Very much.
Yeah, and I don't know. And I'd be real if I owned that bar, I'd be so pissed. Like they're breaking everything. I don't know. But I'll tell you what though, I watched this movie twice and I had fun with it. Aside from what's his face doing nothing memorable. Like I enjoyed GSP. I liked watching JCVD. I thought Batista actually did something interesting with Tung Pao.
That's fair.
I don't understand why in a kickboxing match they have swords.
And why they're so far away from each other that they couldn't hit each other if they dropped each other's guards.
Yeah, and it's but I don't know. Like even with all those, I still rolled with it. Like I didn't, for me, I wanted to be pithy about it, but. I've obviously been saying that, but I had fun with it. Like it's not
Hard Target 2. We kind of endured.
Yeah.
This had some enjoyment factor. And by the way, my favorite part. This isn't a slight against the movie. My favorite part was during the credits.
Yeah.
When they did the side by side where Mousse was mimicking Van Damme's dance moves from that Thai bar fight scene. and they both drop and do the splits at the same time. That was kind of cute. It was very playful.
It was the only time they allowed him to show personality, though.
That's
and
absolutely true. Yeah.
And that's the thing about JCVD. Like, he's a dude that he looked silly on screen. You know, he had a bad mullet. Like, he actually had like some like vulnerability. But Adkins and Moosey in these movies, they don't show any of that.
It's totally just plastically fake.
And so people, you know, bag on JCVD's acting, but he had a presence, and he did allow himself to have fun or like roll with the badness. Like, he literally had that line in Hard Target about Chance Boudreaux. He's like, "My mama took a chance on me." Like, he basically would say anything. So I mean, I don't know. That's why I got kind of annoyed watching that dancing at the end. I'm like, oh, this guy actually seems like he has a personality.
So this movie, for whatever reason, the 89 producers, however many there were, had so much confidence in it that basically right when it hit pay-per-view, you could already go on IMDb and see the cast for Kickboxer Retaliation.
Yeah. And also, guys, we don't condone, at Movies, Films, and Flicks, we don't condone illegal downloading.
I never said anything about illegal downloading.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if it costs $17 million, right? It says $17 million here. You break it up through the different countries, and if you do think about Thailand, China as an international cast, a lot of people want to see this movie. Maybe sell eventual rights to Amazon or Netflix. It'll make its money back. So I think, So I mean, just the different worldwide markets. It's going to be on TV for a while. It's fun. Like, this could be a good.
Fair. I'm going to wait until it's cheap. I'm going to wait until it's $7 or $8, but I am going to buy this.
Yeah, I mean, it's and then I think the next one will pay for itself. Like, it sounds like the next one, since he's going to prison, they're really going to cut back on the locations, so that'll save even more money,
dude. And Christopher Lambert is in it.
Yeah, and Mike Tyson.
Nice.
It's got such a great looking cast, and of course Van Damme is back. This Mousset is back. Do you think that Lambert will A, be the opposing trainer, B, be the suit who runs the prison and the show, or C, both? Like Man of Tai Chi, where he ends up fighting even though he's running the show.
He's going to be rated.
Don't answer that question, because I think that's a good question to end the podcast on.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger. We'll just let the audience ruminate on the question as well. But yeah, guys, I think that's a podcast. But before we sign off, are there any plugs you want to make?
Yeah, I want to recommend the new Shark Dropper podcast that Robert and John do. It's called Splits.
Yeah.
And every other week, they can't do it every week because it would become too painful. But Lazvat does a split and hits Robert in the balls in a different area. So not different. They'll go to a restaurant. They'll go to the top of a bar. They'll go to a park. And you just basically hit them in the balls doing a split, and then you record the reaction to it.
Yeah, check it out, guys. It's
I've got a podcast that airs right afterwards. It's called Uppercut and Holler.
Yeah.
Ah!
And then Mark is hosting one called Sumo Wrestler Recuperation.
That's right. I get laid on by a sumo for 2 hours, and I discuss how terrible it was.
Right. Yeah, check those out. Yeah. Check out Movies, Films, and Flicks, Shark Dropper, The Lamb.
The Lamb.
I'm pretty sure there's others I'm forgetting, but yeah. I think it's time to go, boys.
We'll get them next week.
And guys, you know what? Send in your answers and let us know who you think Lambert should be in the next movie.
Sure.
Give us listener questions based on it.
Yeah.
All right. For my co-host, Mark Hoffmar.
Lambert.
John Lemigood.
JCPD VD.
I've been your host, John Lossford. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Above the target. T-minus 5 seconds till shark drop. 5, 4, 3, shark. Go, go, go!
This podcast is a Shark Dropper Studios production.